Welcome to Mauritius, lost paradise in the Indian Ocean. Postcards landscapes in the heart of Masharine Archipelago. Dreamland for the third stopover of the Globe 40 after a Dantian leg for round-the-world competitors. The summary of the race, the testimonies of the sailors, the discovery of Mauritius, its history, its traditions and its realities are on the menu of this new episode. Mauritius through the Morn. Discover a territory that has been colonized and bruised several times, nowadays rich in cultural and geographical diversity. Ahmas takes the Queen Step. The North American crew tells us about its triumphant journey on what was the longest leg of the Globe 40. Back to the future. In Mauritius, many associations try to bring back to the island its fauna and flora of yesteryear. Between replanting plant species and reintroductions of animals, meetings with nature lovers. Troubles in Hell. Expected is the most formidable of the round-the-world race. The second stage of the Globe 40 generated its share of fear and misadventure, but the whole fleet arrived safely. Mauritius. Threatened beauty? The turquoise lagoons make the island's fame, but its coral reefs are in danger. A global awareness is urgent. Rainbow, pirates, jokes, and culinary pleasures. The skippers tell their best anecdotes on this second stage.
And it's always shocked. I really couldn't eat anymore.
In the corner of the bunk and it's wow!
Finally, pirogue regattas are an ancestral tradition in Mauritius. They are back after 2 years of suspension because of the pandemic. Mauritius, tropical stopover in paradise, which is also strategic in the construction of the race around the world.
C'était évidemment dans notre parcours avec cette volonté de faire des étapes qui soient originales et qui soient nouvelles et qui correspondent à un bon relais entre l'étape en Atlantique et l'étape suivante dans le Pacifique. C'est la première fois qu'une course au large internationale a fait étape à Maurice.
A choice also motivated by an imperative of safety, helping the Class 40 avoid the navigation too far in the south, near the Kerguelen Islands and the ice areas near the Antarctic.
Mon île, c'est comme un petit arc-en-ciel perdu dans l'océan.
A multicultural destiny. A rich history precedes the stopover of the Globe 40 on Mauritius. Discovered by the Africans, subjected by the Romans, then by the Arabs, this small country, situated 1,000 kilometers east of the African coasts, then underwent the race to colonize various European countries.
On a eu les Portugais qui ont découvert l'île ils ne se sont pas vraiment installés. Ensuite, nous avons eu les Hollandais. Eux, ils ont développé l'est de l'île, Grand Port. Et ils ne sont pas restés très longtemps. D'après ce qu'on dit, ils ont eu pas mal de soucis avec certains esclaves marrons qui s'étaient sauvés et qui pillaient le village à l'époque. Et aussi, ils sont arrivés dans une période où ils avaient eu beaucoup de cyclones. Ils ont enchaîné beaucoup de cyclones. Donc ça les a un peu dégoûtés de l'île.
Cette île ça a vraiment un patrimoine maritime exceptionnel.
Après les Hollandais, les Français sont arrivés et eux, ils sont installés pendant très longtemps, donc ils ont développé un peu plus l'ouest et le nord de l'île. Les Français ont gardé l'île jusqu'en 1810 où ils se sont fait attaquer par les Anglais. Et après ça, Napoléon a cédé l'île aux Anglais. Je pense qu'il y a eu un compromis. En cédant l'île, ils ont gardé l'île de la Réunion. À ce moment-là, l'île est restée aux Anglais de 1810 à 1968. Nous avons eu notre indépendance.
Iconic place of Mauritius, Le Morne, Brabant, 550 meters above the ocean, classified as a UNESCO World Heritage Site for its beauty as well as for its memorial importance of the colonial period.
C'était vraiment un lieu de résistance et de refuge. Certains colons anglais étaient venus ici pour récupérer des esclaves comme main-d'œuvre. Sauf qu'à l'époque, beaucoup d'esclaves ont pris peur. Pour eux, ils croyaient qu'ils allaient retourner, être capturés à nouveau et retourner à l'esclavage. Certains esclaves se seraient jetés ici de désespoir. Et c'est pour ça aussi que c'est un lieu très symbolique. Aujourd'hui, on est dans un pays multiculturel et on arrive à vivre avec différentes cultures. C'est ce qui rend notre pays, enfin mon pays, je dis, magnifique parce qu'il y a plusieurs cultures afro-mauriciennes. Vous avez des gens qui viennent un peu de métropole, d'Europe. Vous avez des gens qui viennent d'Asie, un peu plus du sud de l'Asie, de l'Inde, du Pakistan. Donc on a différentes religions, différentes cultures qui sont toutes mélangées ensemble. Et on a réussi à arriver à quelque chose d'assez positif.
The history of the colonialization of the island now leads to a nation of cohabitation and sharing.
J'étais convaincu que cette deuxième étape allait aussi être quelque chose de différent.
The Japanese hegemony of the Globe 40 is over. Unlike the prologue and the first stage, Malay around the world did not arrive as a winner in Mauritius. It was the American-British crew Ahmas who landed first in the light of day in the Bay of Port Louis. A victorious finish after a long journey of 35 days, 10 hours, 42 minutes and 42 seconds, smiling and drawn features. A little over a month at sea to negotiate 7,667 miles and round West Africa to the east, Cape Verde. Mauritius was the longest stage of the Globe 40. A very tactical and strategic leg.
It was weird getting on land, it's all wobbly but yeah, definitely tired. We sort of tried to get a fair amount of sleep and it helps being two-handed, but yeah, definitely tired.
Oliver Bond and Craig Horsfield's initial idea was to follow Malay on the trail and try to overtake him in the final climb to Mauritius. This was without counting on the technical problems of the Japanese rival.
We managed this leg by breaking it into like 4 pieces, and it's very simple. It's one short race from the Cape Verdes in the acceleration, which is 2 days. Exit the Cape Verdes, stage 1. Stage 2, Atlantic to the south, deal with the South Atlantic high. Stage 3 is in the south, Cape Good Hope, Agulhas, and then stage 4, the Indian Ocean. And we have a plan for each stage.
Eli stopped, changed the race, because we were actually on a really great race with them, and we were just trying to keep up with them. And it was good for us because we haven't sailed the Class 40 for a while, so we could kind of see how far off the pace we were and where we needed to improve. And so we were looking at every sked, and trying to see if they were gaining or we were gaining, and what we needed to change, and to try different sail combinations to keep up with them. And so when they headed up to Cape Town, it was a shame because he sort of lost that bit of the racing. And so the focus shifted to just getting the boat back safely. Although we had the Dutch not that far behind, so we had to keep pushing the boat as well.
We were no longer in this competitive mode to push. We suddenly changed the plan to be, okay, let's not break and maintain our lead. Which is different because it's very easy to fall back into not sailing enough. So, yeah, it changed.
The American-British duo conceded. The pit stop operated by Malai in South Africa put them in an ideal position to win this second stage, a fantastic opportunity that they knew not to abuse.
C'était une très bonne surprise parce que finalement le prologue et la première étape n'étaient pas marquants en termes d'analyse sportive. On savait déjà que c'était très proche. Mais sur une longue distance comme la première étape, de voir que finalement l'ensemble de la flotte est très proche, donc ça crée la compétitivité de l'épreuve, c'était vraiment une très belle surprise.
Mauritius, postcard landscapes. In appearance, an idyllic place, yet its fauna and flora have been in danger for decades.
Il y a eu des espèces envahissantes, des prédateurs venus d'ailleurs qui sont arrivés. Il y a eu des friches de forêt, donc on a perdu pas mal de forêt aux dépens de l'agriculture par exemple et du développement, qui fait que ce que nous avons à Maurice en termes de plantes et d'animaux endémiques de Maurice sont aujourd'hui très menacés au niveau mondial. Et c'est ça le challenge, le défi que nous avons, c'est de sauver tout ça de la disparition.
NGOs set out to safeguard the island's natural heritage and even to restore it. In the Fernie Valley Nature Reserve, a few people try to rebuild the vegetation of the past.
Notre but, c'est de faire des travaux de restauration, d'enlever les plantes envahissantes et de venir redonner cette forêt à ce qu'elle était avant, de la faire devenir une forêt primaire avec toutes ses qualités. Parce que vous savez qu'à Maurice, nous avons 5% de forêt primaire à Maurice et on a une très grosse dégradation de l'écosystème. Érosion, construction qui gagne beaucoup les endroits. Et donc notre but, c'est de faire la prolifération de ces plantes endémiques afin de rendre cette forêt comme elle était il y a 400 ans de cela.
To do so, these botanists recover seeds and seedlings from existing trees, then melt them into the greenhouse before relocating them in their natural environment, while taking into account the fauna present in the valley.
Avant, quand on venait ici, les forêts partaient jusqu'au plage, hein. Donc il n'y avait pas de champs de canne à sucre et tout. Et il y avait tout un système qui vivait avec, la faune et flore. Donc aujourd'hui, notre but, nous, c'est de venir planter, aussi de planter en suivant l'espèce des oiseaux qu'on a relâchés. Le pigeon qui aime certains arbres, comme le Pouparia bonica, le bois poupard, qui est un arbre idéal pour l'habitat, et ainsi que les graines servent de nourriture aussi aux pigeons. Alors donc c'est notre but de grandir ces travaux en extension, et tout en relâchant les oiseaux qui vivaient il y a 400 ans de cela.
Island totem animal, the dodo, could not be preserved and died out in the 70s. This led to an awareness of the importance of protecting wildlife. Since then, the pride of Mauritians is to have managed to save the kestrel, very close to disappearing 40 years ago.
Grâce aux efforts de conservation entrepris à partir des années 70, aujourd'hui, non seulement cet oiseau a été sauvé de la disparition, mais cette année-ci, elle est devenue l'oiseau national de Maurice. Donc c'est une très grande fierté, 50 ans après, de sortir cet oiseau qui allait mourir et de la faire symbole, emblème vivante de notre République.
In Mauritius, the preservation of fauna and flora is essential on Earth, but it is just as important, maybe even more, underwater. But more on that in a moment.
Mentally and emotionally, God, I am worn out. It's a long haul, a lot happened, and we had a lot of setbacks.
Hell was predicted for the Globe 40 competitors between Cape Verde and Mauritius. The difficulties identified clearly made it the key stage of this very first round-the-world race in Class 40. Almost a month and a half at sea, and many galleys for almost all skippers.
You always have things break and go wrong. But there was 1 week where literally every day it seemed like a sail tour. And by the end, you're like, honestly, what else can I do here? And we weren't even pushing it. So that was hard. That was hard.
And unfortunately, we had a key problem before the Cape Town, and we decided to stop at the Cape Town to repair that.
The weather got deteriorated over and over and got really bad, and now we got alerts from the Globe 40 management to reroute north.
Sailing in the South African seas in the middle of winter was particularly feared. Most of the fleet opted for a near-shore trajectory, but not Griffin Solo, who quickly regretted his decision.
Getting around the Cape of Good Hope, it's the Cape of Storms, and it's earned its reputation as a very, very difficult place to get around, and we earned every bit of it, and it took us forever. Literally, it feels like it took us forever.
Passer la pointe d'Afrique du Sud, c'est descendre très bas en latitude, et c'est une période de l'année qui n'était pas forcément la plus favorable. C'était notre premier moment critique dans le parcours.
It's not a place where human beings are welcome. It's cold and really rough. It's dark. It was getting dark at 4 p.m. and in the morning the sun will come up at 8 a.m. So it's really long nights, really rough conditions, really cold and wet and rough.
Despite this winter passage of the African point, only one boat had to stop for a damage, and not just any. Malaya Around the World, the favorite of the event.
And that is really, really difficult decision because we are keeping the first place, and we were think a lot until last moment. But it was good decision to stop the Cape Town because we knew what the problem on our queue.
The Japanese crew was not the only one to have to draw a line on the stage victory. On this very strategic race, only one small mistake condemned the Dutch Sek Hei to another second place, their third since the race started.
We made one little mistake 5,000 miles ago, and we could not get back into the lead of the fleet, in the head of the fleet. And I knew we would have made it, and it was only due to different weather systems, where we just did not make the next front, and the door was closed, and we lost again. And then we fight again, and we came closer, and the next door closed. So that was a little bit disappointing. But overall, a second place on the oldest boat in the fleet, knowing you're not able to go as fast as the other ones can go, we can only be very proud of ourselves and proud of the boat.
Every leg till now we are second in the prologue, second in the first leg, second in the third leg. It means that we are doing well. We have to level up a little bit to get number one, but we will we'll push the next leg to try to be number one.
In the end, the satisfaction remains for the skippers as for the organisation, because it was for everyone an important passing exam. a guarantee of reliability for the engaged, of credibility for the organizers. In the eyes of the whole world, Mauritius is all about these sublime turquoise lagoons that define the contours of the island. In total, 243 kilometers squared of translucent expanse preserved by the coral reef. Reefs in great danger. Stressed by climate warming and human activity, Mauritian corals are 75% damaged.
So we have approximately 20% of our reef which is structurally functioning. That's a big impact, a big decline in our coral reef because we are known to have a diversity of corals, we are known for tourist attraction because of our beautiful lagoon. So coral reef around here, so to have a beautiful lagoon like this, they act as a wave breaker. So when high intensity, high energy of waves coming towards the land, so they act like a barrier. And on the coral reef, there is vivid of life. The biodiversity is wow over there. So you have different species of fishes, different species of animal living there.
In an ever warmer water, ideal for tourists, not for animal species, nor for corals.
The tourists that you have in Mauritius, it is because of the beautiful sea that they have around the island. The amazing food, fishes and octopus, which is very eaten here, they come from the sea. And if we don't preserve these habitats, we'll lose the tourism, we'll lose the octopus, we'll lose the fish, among many other things.
Bernardo Nascimento is the Director of Conservation and Education at the Odisseo Aquarium in Port Louis. Originally from Cape Verde, he quickly realized on arriving in Mauritius the lack of interest of the inhabitants for the maritime aspect of the island.
I didn't felt that Mauritians, they have a very strong relation with the sea. And they are in the middle of the sea. It's a sea nation in the sense that they have a huge territory that is the sea, 1,127 times bigger than the land. And I feel that they do have this attraction and they go and stop in the beach. They have this picnic initiative, which is very usual among the Mauritians, but there is a lot to discover. And that is a little bit the role that we have here, that is to try to bring people to pass this barrier, which is the beach, and go inside the sea, discover the importance of the sea, the service that the sea provides to us, and also what they can do to protect the sea.
The situation is critical. The sea temperature went from 29 degrees Celsius in 2012 to 33 degrees Celsius last summer. The coral reef is so bad that a recent study predicts its total disappearance within 50 years. However, this alarming finding does not get any real echo among the Mauritian population. So, the specialists at the Odisseo Aquarium in Port Louis try to make the inhabitants aware of the importance of the island's marine biodiversity.
On souhaiterait que les gens comprennent que protéger l'environnement, c'est pas juste protéger le bout de corail qu'il y a ici ou le bout de forêt qu'il y a là-bas. La protection de l'environnement, c'est une vision intégrée des choses. Ça passe avant tout par un changement chez nous, dans nos habitudes quotidiennes. On a compris que le tourisme durable, c'est bien. On a compris que l'environnement est important pour l'économie. Donc je pense que les choses vont se prouver être assez belles pour l'avenir.
This awareness, which began about 10 years ago, is beginning to bear fruit. Attitudes are changing. In 40 days sailing around Africa, the skippers have accumulated a lot of anecdotes. Between hallucinations and schoolboy jokes, culinary discoveries and fairy apparitions, the sailors give us their best memories of this second stage.
most important was trying to make fun of each other on the boat. So Franz is scared a lot and easily. So whenever he's doing something, I just flap him in the face and say fly fish, and then he's always shocked. And that's like he's on top of the mast in the 2 seconds. That's how much he got shocked. So he does other things to me. He can tell you.
I come inside and Ivan was in the corner of the bunk and I said, wow! Oh! A lot of time we did it to each other.
We try to have as much fun as possible.
There was a rainbow, full rainbow, and the light reflecting from the rainbow came right to the boat where I was sitting. So I could see like a line of the rainbow coming right at me, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna be fine. Like a rainbow shining on me, things can't go wrong.
I bring Japanese ramen from Japan, and I bring a sati ramen from Japan. But Andrea ate almost everything.
I really fell in love with Japanese food on board. I really couldn't eat any more dry French, Italian, Dutch food. I just really enjoy the Japanese food.
He stopped to eat the Italian food and now he eats only the Japanese food. That is good memory for me because I pick up his stomach now.
In the middle of the night, we were nowhere. We were somewhere in the middle of the Atlantic, and I looked out and I see this light. And I say to Joe, like, hey, there's nobody on AIS. The radar reads a very little signal. It's a small boat. This is weird. I don't know if they're pirates. And I started having all my alerts. I'm like, we're gonna shoot them with rockets, and we gotta do something. Where's the knife? And no boats, no small boats around here. Those guys are up to no good. And our radio doesn't work because 3 times we were not able to fix it. So then what happened? We monitor it, and then we look at the positions, and they're kind of moving with us. And I say, maybe we should turn the lights off. This can be a bad situation. After a long time, we realized it was Whiskey Jack. We could see them.
In the southeast of the island, in the Bay of Grand Port, several times a year, the sea is adorned with the colours of the rainbow. The traditional canoe regattas, from a sensational multicolored broom, one of the most popular sports attractions of the Mauritian lagoons. In the preamble of the race, the beach becomes an anthill where several hundred enthusiasts work to prepare the boats.
On organise des régates presque une fois par mois. Mais après le Covid, 2 ans, on n'a pas fait de régates du tout. Et aujourd'hui, c'est les premières régates qu'on a fait après le Covid. Mais on n'a pas assez d'entraînement. Mais aujourd'hui, on a fait une petite régate pour des entraînements.
Generally, about 15 boats are engaged. Pirogues derived from the traditional boats of the fishermen, whose one of the peculiarities is the artisanal manufacture with the materials of the island.
Les bateaux traditionnels, on utilise des bois, de bambou. Mais c'est les bateaux professionnels pour les régates. C'est ces bateaux, les professionnels de l'île Maurice.
Up to 8 meters long, these pirogues are piloted in a very special way. This gives rise to a real balancing act on board, a choreography made by a dozen tightrope walkers, tasked with countering the power of the wind and keeping the pirogue flat.
Il faut 10 ou 12 d'équipage dans le bateau pour le bateau avance. S'il y a moins de vent, il faut mettre plus lentement et voile. S'il y a trop de vent, il faut mettre moins de voile.
The next leg of the Globe 40 will take the fleet to New Zealand. Destination, Auckland. Mythical stopover for every sailor. In the meantime, the skippers will again spend more than a month at sea, crossing the Indian Ocean, passing south of Australia to reach the eternal city of sailing. Will the North American crew, Ahmas, confirm its takeover? Will Malai make up for the delay due to its keel damage? Will the Dutch Sek Hei finally win a stage? The answer is in the next episode of the magazine of the Globe 40. See you soon.